At all nostalgia drag racing events, there are those vehicles that epitomize what NDRA is all about. Here are the Lions Reunion 1992 winners. Now back in the pit area, technical inspection continues on. Vehicles get checked for their safety as well as what class they're in. Back in the pit area, though, after tech inspection, it's time to work away on the cars, get them ready, because racing is about to begin. Slingshot dragsters, spindly steel chassis, front engines, lots of fat slicks. And the Slingshot Altered class has a lot of front-engine dragsters that may no longer be competitive in NHRA dragster racing, where rear-engine dragsters are the mainstay. Charlie Cleves moving up the line in his altered dragster of days gone by, the touch of gray car. Angley on the far side, late on the light. Well, maybe not. Charlie left a little too early and got the bright red light for a lose. Wind light going to the far lane. The nostalgia competition category. Here you find many different cars. This, an English Ford or Thames panel truck, highly modified with American hot rod ingenuity, running a nostalgia competition. The 40 Ford, the mainstay of many hot rodders, also highly modified, finds its way into the nostalgia comp category. 61 Plymouth taking on a Nova. Nova's the 55 Chevy of the 90s. Mopar gets him this time out. The muscle competition class. Muscle cars of days gone by, highly modified, no longer street legal, but muscle cars in a muscular form make up the muscle comp or muscle competition class. And second-generation Camaros don't do bad either. Here's a nice slick-bodied 71 model for you. Little altered roadster far lane taking on a Vega. Pre-74 is the year break-off for nostalgia racing. Super Street coming up here now. Here the Dino's Pizza Nova is going to be competing, but many body styles will make up the Super Street category. They all look like they came off the street with some graphics and modifications to them. Super wide tires help this Nova launch hard down the quarter mile. Here you see them heating up the hides. Big wide slicks have to be warmed to get the traction they need with 600 plus horsepower under the hood. In the Super Street category, window nets such as you see there, plus a very strong roll structure, protect the driver should a mishap happen someplace on that track. Here comes my favorite part of nostalgia drag racing, the street rods. And what better car to show but a fat-fendered 40 Ford Coupe. Claude getting the tires nice and hot here on that flamin' 40. He loves drag racing. He comes out to all NDRA events to flog his 40. The 47 two-door of Mr. Bruckman charges off the line. This big, ultra-fat-fendered car goes down the quarter mile all the time, nice and straight. 40 Fords, flames, mag wheels, but still all the factory body parts in place. A street rod doesn't get any better than that. Street machines. You see them on the street, you see them at cruise nights. Here's a 56 Chevy that tells you just what it's all about. And these cars get driven to the track. Beautiful two-tone 56 Chevy Bel Air. Mag wheels, stock ride height, taking on a lead sled, a 50 Ford with lots of chrome removed and Chevrolet power to make it move. Street muscle. These are the muscle cars that still see duty on the street. Not every day, of course, but when cruise nights come around. Ford and Chevy renew their battle cries on the drag strip. Here Mustang shuts down at Chevy El Camino. 69 SS 396s, the mainstay of muscle cars of the 60s. Let's heat the tires up, get them good, hot, and sticky. Time trials, the time to practice launches, get the car consistent, because this is Run What You Brung racing, all against the clock. Side by side it appears, but it's only for fun and practice. Green light goes, and so do the cars. Nostalgia Racing brings out a lot of the older cars that no longer race in NHRA, such as a mighty Mustang or a hot Camaro. Even in Nostalgia Racing, safety is of utmost importance. A helmet, a roll cage, a fire suit. It's still worn when the speeds warrant it. One car at a time. That's all that comes out from each lane. Many cars from the 60s find their way to the drags at Nostalgia Races, such as this shiny, pretty 63 Dodge. Or how about a 63 Nova? They all have fun at Nostalgia Drag Races. Here's that beautiful 56 Chevy back again, and Nostalgia Drag Racing gives you more track time than NHRA-style racing. After all, this is for fun. And fun is what this driver is going to have as he makes another time trial pass down the track. Front-motored slingshot dragster, taking on the latest and greatest state-of-the-art rear-engine dragster. Now, this is the time trial day, so they let him run just to show him that old is not necessarily worse than new, because although the far lane will get a better reaction time, tower side, the good old slingshot barrels on by. Bert Rhodes, the founder of NDRA, Nostalgia Drag Racing, talks to the people in the pits, in the stands, and wherever he goes to promote the sport of Nostalgia Drag Racing. Up in the tower, the work never stops either. Here we get the computers ready because, although we race old cars, new technology keeps things going. We can tell you how fast you ran, what your ET was, and how quickly you reacted to that green light. Eliminations begin. Up first, altered T Roadster, sitting on a short wheelbase chassis with a lot of horsepower. On the far lane, you've got a slingshot dragster. The lights go green and off they charge. The little slingshot, getting its name because of how hard they start from the starting line, carries it all the way through and wins this one. Muscle cars, always fun and hot at the drags.
How you feeling today? Pretty good. How's the car going? Right on the money.
Well, let's see how much on the money they are. Here's Marilyn Nurse Stoner in her Chevy 2. She's going to take on that muscle car. Off the line they go, and the muscle car is showing its muscle, powering away from the 63 Nova. Here he comes, taking the win. Beetles may not be considered a nostalgic race car, but they fit the year, and they fit the basic premise of drag racing. It's fun, regardless of what you're driving. Mighty Mustang with state-of-the-art wheelie bars. Taking on the Beetle. The Mustang charges off the line. The Beetle falters just a little bit on the start. As they come down to the middle of the track, the Beetle is coming on strong, and he just blows the doors off that Ford. Beautiful flame job on that 442 Olds, and those tires are hot. Kenny McKenzie gets him right at the end with his flamin' 49 Olds. Claude with the fat-fendered flamin' 44 thumps the motor up to the starting line, getting ready to square off against Mr. Bruckman's ultra-fat fendered 47 sedan. Listen to the exhaust thunder as they pull away from the quarter-mile starting line. Claude McNeil in the 44 on the tower side isn't going to be able to catch Bruckman in the fat fendered 47, and Bruckman taking the win this time. Now, Chevrolet built this car back in the 70s. They called it the Chevrolet Chevette. They powered it by 4-cylinder engines. This one's got a 355 cubic inch Chevy small block in it. Now, if Chevy had built that car that way, they probably would have sold a whole bunch more than they did. Gary Lambert's Chevrolet Chevette. We sometimes call it the Chevette. RPMs start to rise as he gets into the staging beams, ready to make his pass. Off the line he goes. He's taking on the Keystone Cops Camaro. Lambert in the little Chevrolet Chevette shoves it right by to take the win by only inches. Dragster's taking off a pair. Losing a little traction on the far side and shutting it down. Tower Side takes an easy win this time out. The clean, mean, and lean front-motor dragster. Big Chevy 427 cubic inch motor powering this car. Lots of slicks. They pull in the water. Now is the time to spin those tires and get them hot, because that car needs all the traction it can get. The mean, clean, and lean group getting ready to go. They've got the tires warmed up, or maybe they don't. He's backing up to do it again. It was fun. They're getting ready to roll. They've got some tough competition on the far lane, and they want to be ready. Safety devices include the cage, the parachute, a special driver's suit, arm restraints, and always a helmet. Now they get ready to move up to the line to begin this race. Two slingshot dragsters getting ready to go. Tower Side looks like he's off to a great start, but he left too soon and got a red light. The win goes to the far lane. Racing, the class finals are here. Only the best of the best, the cream of the crop, will meet in the finals for class honors. The 427 powered 47 Ford of Richard Bruckman will square off. He chooses the left lane. In the right lane, the 1940 Ford of Claude McNeil. He has a 350 Chevy small block in his Flamin' 40 Coupe. As they move into the line, one of the last of the pre-war fat-fendered Fords takes on one of the first of the post-war fat-fendered Fords, just like they did in the old days. But now, in nostalgia drag racing, it's even better. Bruckman on the far side, McNeil tower side. The light goes green. McNeil seems to have the better start. His car bobbles a little bit. Bruckman, trying to come from behind, pushes the pedal to the metal. Bruckman's there. He's closing. He's side by side and grabs the win light. Bruckman in the fat-fendered Ford taking the win. Now coming out the beautiful 56 Chevy of Ken Shoemaker. 312 cubic inches of Chevy motor makes this car run super strong, straight, and consistent. He's taking on a Hemi-powered Dodge Charger. The race begins. Shoemaker starts off first. Starts to pull away with the small block Chevy. But look at the Mopar struggling. That big elephant Hemi starting to come on strong. Charging down the line, the fastback Charger pulls off the win by a length. Now in the next race, we've got a treat. A 38 Chevrolet powered by a big block 396 Chevy engine of Tom Staub is going to take on something a little newer. Now with nostalgia drag racing, 74 and older cars can compete, and what we've got is a Dodge Challenger taking on the Street Rod. That 396 cubic inch Street Rod tries to catch the muscle car, but muscle power sometimes overcomes Street Rod power. And the Challenger takes the win. In the next race, we've got two hot competitors. Gary Lambert's 1974 Chevette just making the cut on the year with a 355 cubic inch small block Chevy. Now, Debbie lets him do the driving quite a bit. The 71 Camaro of Bill Wolfram packs 468 cubic inches worth of engine power. Now, Wolfram, with all that power, has to really get those hides hot to get the traction he needs. Now, he knows Lambert is a tough competitor. Lambert off the mark hard. Lambert off the mark real hard. He's leading Wolfram. Wolfram's big block Chevy comes on strong right at the end. It looks like he won, but the computer says Lambert takes him by inches. The 1960 Volkswagen Beetle of John Redding has turbo power to get it down the quarter mile in short order. Now, his competition is going to be a tough Volkswagen-powered dragster. Short wheelbase, skinny little lightweight dragster taking on the Beetle sedan. The light goes green, and they both seem to have problems. Watch! The Beetle heads to the guardrail as the Volkswagen gets crossed up. The dragster straightens out, the Beetle shuts it off, saves the motor as the dragster takes the win and puts the Beetle sedan on the trailer, and that ends his day of racing. Next up, the 1964 Valiant of Wes Messick. 426 cubic inches worth of heavy Hemi power this unlikely drag race car. He's taking on a Nova now. The light goes green, or does it? Look at the lead the Nova pulls out. A red light start, and Messick's going to take the win. Nova driver lost concentration at the starting line, and he left on the wrong yellow beam. He gets there first. Messick takes the win in the Valiant. The 1992 Desert Classic winners are Richard Bruckman in Street Rod 1 driving a fat-fendered 47 Ford. In Street Rod 2, Tom Staub's 39 Chevy wins. In Street Machine, the beautiful two-tone 56 Chevy of Ken Shoemaker prevails. In Street Stock SS1, Mike Olson's beat-up sedan does it. In SS2, James Kraft's 66 Dodge Charger. In Street Muscle, Kip's 66 Mustang takes STM1, and Smith's 73 Challenger STM2. Nostalgia competition, Wes Messick's Rapid Red Valiant takes NC1, Ed Conrad's Nova Wagon NC2. In muscle competition, Gary Lambert's Super Chevy Chevette in MC1, Bruno Casella's 67 Mustang in MC2. An all Slingshot win day for these guys. In Slingshot Altered 1, Mike Lugo, and Slingshot Altered 2, Buddy Elaine. Dragsters being the winning combination this time out. In Junior Fuel, the all dragster category, Mark Rauchfuse has the win. Unique to NDRA Racing is the Eliminator Finals, Competition Eliminator Champ, and King of the Hill Racing. See who's the best of the best. In the King of the Hill, Bruckman's fat-fendered Ford takes on Kraft's fastback, Hemi-powered Dodge Charger. As they pull up to the line, they are moving. Kraft on the far lane has that Dodge Charger stomping mad, and it is running strong. The fat-fendered Ford starts to pick up speed, closing speed getting great, and by inches, Bruckman takes King of the Hill. Bruckman in his fat-fendered Ford prevails through a long day of racing. James Kraft made it up to the runner-up spot in the King of the Hill finals that saw 8 cars start for King of the Hill. In the Comp Eliminator final, Gary Lambert gets put up against Mr. Messick's Rapid Valiant. Now, this is a Comp Eliminator final where 8 cars have gone and only 2 remain. Lambert and Messick getting ready to go. The lights begin to drop, and they're gone. Messick losing some power on the starting line, and Gary Lambert takes his Chevette, powers his way all the way to the finish line, way out ahead of Wes Messick. The winner, Gary and Debbie Lambert. Gary does the driving, but Debbie lets him do it. Runner-up this time out, the Valiant of Wes Messick. Hemi power, not enough.